Yo, what's poppin' YouTube? Holla at your boy. Back again with another video. And I had the Pixel 5 right here for about 3 weeks, man. 3 weeks to a month, I'ma say. I'ma go ahead and call it an even month so you guys already know what it is. So I'ma go ahead and hit you guys with my 3 weeks to 1 month review or whatever it is of the Pixel 5. And without any further ado, let's go! Alright y'all, as you can see right here, the Pixel 5 is a dope device. This is Google's latest flagship for this year, and next year Google is planning on changing some things around, but this year, hey, this is what we get right here. So for this year's Pixel, Google decided to change a few things up this year. This year's Pixel technically is not a flagship because it doesn't have the flagship processor in there, but everything else you get into this device is definitely flagship material. So Google hit us with a 1080p display, 6 inches, also support 90 Hertz. We also get a 4080 milliamp battery. You also have reverse wireless charging, front dual speakers. You have one at the bottom. You also have one behind the screen. We're going to talk about that a little later. The latest and greatest from Google software wise. On the back here, you have the fingerprint scanner. And finally, Google has listened and given us a ultra wide angle. So that right there is definitely a plus. Last year, Google at their event said that we feel that the telephoto is way better than the ultra wide. And Google got killed for that. You know, everybody was like,
what? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
So yeah, Google got crucified for that. Finally, they listened and giving us an ultra wide angle lens. Hey, can't be mad at that. Let's go ahead and get into the review. And the first thing that we're gonna go ahead and get into is the cameras. Since we're looking at the cameras, we might as well just go ahead, jump right into it. Now the cameras are the same cameras that you get on the Pixel 4 and the 4 XL and the 4a. The only difference is you get features added within the camera and the video app here. First thing we're gonna do, and just look at the ultra wide here. So yeah, you have the ultra wide and the normal. So we're gonna go ahead, get into the phone here, go to the camera app. So as you can see here, we have 1 time is your normal, 2 time is, you know, your 2 times zoom here, and you have your ultra wide right there. So they finally listen. We're gonna go ahead and swipe over, and we're gonna get into the video. Google has stepped it up when it comes to the video quality on the Pixel 5. We have slow motion, you have normal, and you have time lapse. And you see that little hand over there right there? If you hit this little hand right here, you have another menu that pops out. So first thing we have is standard, and that is for light movement. And then we have lock, and that's for far away, still shot, 2 times zoom. And then we have active, and active is for heavy movement. And you have cinematic pan. Now this is for smooth panning shots. So those are the new options that you have inside of the video app. You can get some nice cinematic pan. And while we're still on the back of the phone here, we're gonna go ahead and check out the fingerprint scanner. Now, in a world where everyone is masked up, we have to stay safe, you know, protect each other. So we all wearing our mask as we go out. You should be wearing a mask as you go out, but face unlock and stuff like that doesn't work with your mask on. So I have no problem with Google going back to the reliable fingerprint scanner on the back here. It works every time. You do not have to pull your mask off to use this. You just place your finger right there and bam. Once again, bam. I'm feeling this a little better than the facial recognition. Now I mean, face unlock, that's cool. You know, you can just look at your phone and bam, it unlocks the phone. But a lot of these banking apps don't use face unlock also. if you swipe down on a fingerprint scanner like that, you can lower the notification shade. I have no problem with them going back to the old school reliable fingerprint scanner. Now another thing that I really love about this phone is the build quality. Now remember when I said that the Pixel 5 still have flagship specs? The build quality right here, this is aluminum and glass here. So it's still flagship when it comes to the build. This is aluminum. Word of mouth is Google cut out a portion of this in the back here to put in wireless charging. And that right there, my friend, has never been done with phones with metal or aluminum backs. People were saying that they was having problems with the coat that Google applied on top. They were saying that, you know, the corners of their devices are chipping, the paint is chipping. And as you can see right here, I have no chipping or flaking of my device. I am pretty good, and I also have my phone in and out of cases a lot. Also, another thing people is having is people's screen is popping from the frames. Now, I haven't heard anything about anyone else. As you can see here, nothing is wrong with it. So, build quality for me is spectacular. I'm really feeling this sort of sage. I am feeling the build quality of this phone, and I am feeling the color of this phone. So now it's time to talk about the front of the device here. This is a 6-inch 1080p, also it's a OLED display. You have no bezels on this. As you can see right here, there is no bezels on deck, none whatsoever. And I like to give Google props. We all know on their previous devices, they was either had foreheads and chins, they had the George Jefferson, the saggy boob. Now I didn't mind the notch because I got used to it. When you focus on that notch, that thing was hideous. This year, I'm glad Google decided to keep it bezel-less throughout the whole device here. You got the punch hole display right there. You probably can't see it. I know you can't see it. Let me go to an app that's not dark. So as you can see there, you have your punch hole display right there. Look at that. That's fantastic right there. This has got to be the best Pixel up to date. The display on this thing is pretty nice, and outside viewing angles, it's not bad in the sun. You can totally see this broad daylight in the sun. And 90 hertz always on, so smooth, so smooth. I mean, 90 hertz is more than just scrolling through timelines and stuff like that, but man, when you're looking and you see this scrolling like this, man, it makes it feel so smooth. A lot of people thinking because this doesn't have the 865 processor in it that it's a slouch, it's not gonna perform, it can't keep up with the phones that have the 865. Now this has a 765G and it's 5G. Yes sir, yes sir. Hey, the 765 is handling this phone like a champ. Now with me doing all of this, how is that affecting the battery life? The battery life on this thing is stupid good. This phone has a 4080 milliamp battery. That's a step up from last year, which was, I want to say, a 37 something milliamp battery from the Pixel 4 XL. This is a step up. So Google has finally given us a phone with 4,000 plus milliamp battery. This phone can last you all day, you know, with light moderate usage, almost 2 days. Now the battery life is subjective. People's results will vary depending on what you do. I know me, I can consistently get around 7 hours, maybe a little bit over 7 hours, but I can consistently get 7 hours. Now that's my usage. Your usage may vary. So when it comes to the battery life is pretty solid. You should not have any problem on this device. For the front-facing speakers, Google decided to go with an under-display speaker. Now does this affect the volume or the sound quality that's coming out of this phone overall? Yes and no. Yes it is, because it's behind the display here. It's not gonna be as loud as your typical phones that have, you know, front-facing speaker at the top here. I am going to go ahead and play a beat for y'all. So yeah, the volume isn't bad at all on this. It still get plenty loud. You have a speaker out the bottom here, and you have one that's coming out from under the display up top. So yeah, man, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that the under display speaker is a problem? Now, when it comes to speaker phones, or when it comes to phone calls and stuff like that, yeah, I can barely hear it. Now, it does show you a spot where you put your ear. So it does show a spot where you put your ear. Shout out to the homie Barry. I did not know that. So sound wise, it still get plenty loud. It's no problem. It's just when it comes to phone calls, you may have a little problem of hearing the person on the other end, but you'll get used to it. One of the best thing about going out and purchasing a Pixel device is for the software. Stock Android is the way to go. Google don't put all these extra fancy features inside of their software and stuff like that. It's stock just the way it should be. So we're gonna go ahead and get into the software. Android 11 with 8 gigs of RAM on deck here. The software experience is straight butter. There's no freezing, no stutters, none of that. None of that. It's just straight butter. And that's because of the 8 gigs of RAM in here. 8 gigs of RAM is way more than enough to push stock Android. Open up my Instagram. There go the homie Tanner So Lit. And yeah, man, just scrolling through this. Look at that. No problem. Software on this phone, man, it is fantastic. There are other features that Google has added to the software as far as receiving phone calls. Hold my call, and they also added screen call. Screen call is, you know, that's nothing new. That was on the previous Pixels from last year. And this year they stepped it up a little more and gave us hold my call. So we're gonna go ahead and get into that. So I'm gonna go ahead and call Comcast. As you can see here, there is a hold my call. So we're gonna go ahead and hit this hold for me. And it says start hold for me. It says hold for me only works after you've been on hold. So we're gonna go ahead and start hold my call. It says your assistant is listening for you so you can do other things. And right there, it popped up. And if you want to return back to the call, you can go ahead and do that. I am going to hang up here. So that right there is the hold my call feature on the Pixel 5. So this is a preview that's only available in the US. So if you are outside of the US, I don't think this will work. That right there has been my full review of the Pixel 5. I appreciate you guys checking out this video. If you have any questions, leave your comments down below. Pixel 5, best Pixel up to date. So this has been Hollaturboy. Don't forget, go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe. Also go ahead and smash the notification bell. That way you are notified when I release new content. So this has been Hollaturboy. Make sure you guys are safe out there, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Later.